Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, the saddest WWE angle ever.
An important update on Big E's contract.
An impotent update on Teddy Long.
And whatever Toni Storm's up to.
She's ripped her fanny.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
Her words, not ours. And this is the news.
All right, let's talk about the New Day. I mean, what
Do we
else?
have to? I really don't want to.
Yeah, let's relitigate. I'll relive all of this stuff. What else can you probably talk about on the news today than the dissolution of the most tenured and beloved stable in modern WWE?
It is weird to be watching post-Raw and going, oh yeah, by the way, Drew McIntyre's back, but never mind about all that.
Yeah, Seth Rollins and CM Punk's happening, that was really good. All this, they leaned on Shield history and lore and to trigger that feud coming back together. But none of that matters because of this in a great many ways.
Happiness is dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, don't have friends, it'll end in tears is the answer to this. Like me and the Eel, we had a great falling out. Very similar saga, actually. There he is. Little prick. Are you the Eel guy now?
Piss
Are
off.
you the Eeler? Nah, no one likes him.
Me and him. It's just me and you now.
Kick the herb.
Us against the world.
Kick the eel to the curb. Right, so it was the 10-year anniversary segment of the New Day coming together, and a lot of things people figured, like, lots of different things could have happened here, right? A lot of people foresaw that maybe Big E would come back and pull everyone back together.
That's what I was hoping.
Yep, they've been having tension lately, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. A lot of other people thought that one of Xavier or Kofi would turn heel on the other and have a singles feud, and it'd be more of a conventional breakup kind of thing.
Surprise, they're both bastards.
Yeah, they both turned heel and they kicked Big E's ass out of the group despite the fact that he's had a broken neck for 3.5 years.
Who cares? Edge had a broken neck.
Nasty men. Nasty guys. Bad. I'll just give you a rundown. Look, it was a long segment and you should probably just watch it yourself.
It's unbelievable. Go and watch it.
But let's kind of go through it. So they had the stage kind of dressed up with New Day memorabilia.
A nice balloon arch.
Bootios, everything. They had all the gimmicks. Xavier Woods, not Xavier Woods, Adam Pearce.
Oh yeah,
completely
mistaken.
different people. Led a New Day Rocks chant. They came out. The guys got an ovation. This is despite bickering last week backstage.
Saying the
really
unsayable to each other, wasn't it?
Yeah, really nasty scuffle between Woods and Kingston last week. But they did the promo, Woods and Kingston. Woods thanked everyone. He was very grateful. He said that this run had been beyond even his wildest dreams. He thanked the fans for their role and acknowledged that they'd been very important to their success. Kingston then spoke about their journey a little bit, said he couldn't have done it without the fans or each other. We got a Big E chant, of course, breaking out through the crowd, and Woods kind of started lowering, bringing the tone down a little bit.
Enough about him.
Yeah, he said, we got a major announcement here, and what we're about to say, it's none of your fault. I want you to know that. This is not your fault. So everyone's going, oh no. But Big E came out.
Y'all want to go big?
There you go. The music hit. Big E came out before Kofi could kind of announce something.
Yeah.
Evil, presumably. They were surprised to see him, but, he came out, and everyone, there was like, I think Wade Barrett excitedly proclaimed it was the first time he'd been on TV in 4 years.
Yeah.
He's been on pre-show panels and stuff like that, but not quite the same as appearing on Raw and SmackDown, of course. Big E gave a very emotional speech. This was, of course, like the day of his Players Tribune article coming out, which you should obviously read. It's one of the most touching things of the year. He came out and he showed a bit of regret over the tension that the group's been having while he's been away. And he was talking about how Kofi was considering retirement 10 years ago when they formed, and him and Woods almost got fired. But he thanked them. He said they'd always been by his side throughout his broken neck, throughout the injury. No wavering in their support whatsoever. He talked a lot about various emotional moments they'd shared together. And then he got a little bit spicy. Kofi said that he had left them after his injury. He'd departed them. He'd left them.
His neck.
Yeah, very unreasonable. He said that he's been meeting with doctors and he's been working to get clear, but it hasn't happened yet. Woods accused him of prioritizing his personal life and his personal projects.
How dare you?
Yeah, getting a new girlfriend and stuff. How dare you live a life after suffering a broken neck? They said he abandoned us, all this stuff. He turned it into... He abandoned the philosophy of we before me. is the line that was used primarily there. He said that he wanted to manage them until he was cleared. He wanted to pull them back together.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, my order is all over the place here, but bear with me.
Yeah.
And Woods just was like, well, you're never going to get cleared, ever. I am the nastiest man alive now. He basically pleaded with them to reconsider. They rejected him just completely outright in the middle of the ring. The crowd chanted for him, but he was heartbroken. And he left the ring. Kofi and Woods, they came together. They found unity in being an asshole to their best friend. They said, it's just us now. And they shook hands, they embraced, the crowd booed, and Big E trudged slowly to the back. Wow.
I'll be honest, I didn't want to come to work today after watching that. I mean, I did because I want to talk all about it, obviously. Yeah. But, yeah, there was a glimmer of hope briefly when he was like, look, I'm not cleared yet. Maybe we'll be, hopefully we'll be. We always say cross our fingers, cross everything that Big E will eventually return to the ring. But, yeah. And then he said, I'll manage you. And I was like, I'll take that. You know,
sure.
Not ideal, but I'll take it. And it doesn't look like that one's going to be turning on the other, Kofi and Xavier, like people were speculating on. And then they were the two. I didn't think it was possible. I thought one could turn heel. I didn't think you could have multiple members of the New Day turn heel. On Big E, sort of going, what are you complaining about? A broken neck, big whoop. Other wrestlers have had broken necks, they've come back. What's your problem?
Yeah.
First of all broken necks, as we've learned as wrestling fans, are not the same. And it's Big E, how can you be horrible to him? He's really doing nasty. Like Our Heroes Rock, we've promoted it, we've talked about it, it's a brilliant project. He's got a girlfriend, he's living his best life that he can, whilst he can't wrestle. You selfish bastard.
And Wood spoke about like having, like, you didn't even need surgery. When I tore my Achilles, I needed surgery, so really I'm the victim.
You had a hurty leg, Xavier. I mean, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But
what a couple of assholes.
Yeah.
What a couple of dicks.
Unbelievable segment.
Yeah,
though,
really, really amazing. I figured they were going to tell some kind of unorthodox storyline. Nobody saw this particular development coming, I don't think. And if you say you did, well, show me receipts or I'm going to call you a liar, sir. It was really, really effective, really well done. This is what you do when you have 10 years of history. You play on it and you put people's emotions through the ringer. And, like, if you want to understand why WWE is so successful at the moment, watch this.
Yes.
Like, this is why. It's because things are paid off and, like, there's attention paid to the long-term, bigger picture storytelling. We've seen it in the Bloodline. We've seen it in things like Punk and Rollins now, the way that is unfolding. There's countless more examples. It's these big picture, long-term arcs are just connecting with everybody who watches this show. The base is well and truly well fed by what they're being given at the moment. And I think that this was one of the best angles ever in WWE. It was tremendous stuff. Tremendous.
I'm so excited to see where we go from here. Like, what does the heel New Day look like? Is there a glimmer of a hope that, you know, maybe they're clearing house in the Royal Rumble and we hear again, y'all want to go big? And Big E comes up. I don't know. But, like, I always hope, obviously, for Big E to wrestle if he ever can again. But just so emotionally affecting.
Yeah, really, really great. And like,
I was trepidatious when they announced the 10-year celebration. They never go well.
Yeah. It's
I didn't
always
expect it to be this sad.
And I think that if Big E is like, you know, look, wrestling is very complex. In these injuries are really, really tricky. And while it's often a bit naive to talk about returns and what's going to happen when they come back, in this situation, I feel like if Big E is able to wrestle again, like the story of Woods and Kingston gradually realizing that they were wrong and they were dicks. That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's
it's really good. Yeah, and like you say, I'm always anxious to talk about, like, well, you know, whenever people say, like, what's a big return you'd love to see in 2025? Big E, obviously Big E. Yeah. But, like, you never want to say that because we don't know what's going on, and you can't just, as they did, say, well, other wrestlers have come back from broken necks. Well, Tyson Kidd didn't. Tyson Kidd has to go and be trainer and do all this other stuff within wrestling, but unfortunately can't really step in between the ropes again. So you don't want to speculate on something like that. However, them referencing that just maybe gives you a bit of hope.
Leads me to believe that something is afoot.
I need to cling on to something right now, to be perfectly honest.
What nasty guys.
But what is going on with Big E's contract? Fightful Select following up on this with some really interesting reporting, because in 2019, the New Day collectively, back when they were mates, signed 5-year contracts. 2019 plus 5 is 2024. That's the year we're in right now. Now, Fightful spoke to people within WWE saying that they don't believe that the WWE will be doing the whole, well, you've been injured, so we'll add time onto your contract as of this summer. He's been sidelined since early 2022, of course, because of that broken neck. No word on him re-signing a deal, but it makes sense that they wouldn't add injury time to his deal. That was signed on the expectation to be an in-ring talent. Yeah. This isn't just, I've got a twisted ankle for a bit, basically. It's this very, very severe injury, of course. Plus, as Andy mentioned, he's been doing appearances on panels and digital content, all that sort of thing. So it's not like he hasn't been working for the company. But as of right now, as much as, his contract may be it might be ending this year, I don't really see him going anywhere, because you look at that and you go, well, that's a year's worth of storylines straight out the gate, whatever happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, a bit of a different situation with Big E, because he's been injured for so long, right? And like, the adding time on is generally not something that I favour, because it's often, as we're seeing with Rey Fenix, and look, we've seen it dozens of times with WWE in the past, it often feels quite spiteful. In this situation, it's a beloved guy who has had a horrible injury. I trust that he'll be looked after. Yeah. Like, if he does, if the deal's expiring, he'll get a new one. He just will. Because even if he can't wrestle again, why would you not have that man on your TV doing your pre-show panels and whatever else you can do with him? It's also just like looking after a guy who is literally gone through physical hell for his art. So.
Pretty bad move to be like, well, that's 2 years added onto your contract. You haven't wrestled since 2022.
Yeah, eat this, chief. Especially at a time when everyone's getting big raises and stuff. Yeah. To be held to the similar terms would be a bit rough. But I mean, they're not going anywhere.
No, exactly.
They're all going to re-sign, and it's going to be good.
It strikes me as the worst case scenario. The most outrageous one is maybe WWE just basically does what they've done with Becky Lynch, of like, look, we both know you're not going anywhere, but you don't want to get back into the ring yet. When you do, let us know, and we'll get the paperwork sorted, basically.
We'll figure it out. Right, let's talk about...
Speaking of figuring things out...
Teddy Long.
we needed something to cheer us up after this New Day stuff. So our final 2 stories are ridiculous.
Complete mistakes. Right, so Teddy Long has gone one-on-one with The Undertaker, finally, at long last. He's been on the 6 Feet Under podcast, with Mark Calloway. I'm not sure who that is. And he's selling Viagra and stuff. Right, so he's told this story. He's told this story about a time he went to Wrestler's Court.
Love for Wrestler's Court stories.
They're absurd. And this kind of began, there was a reference to Blue Chew, which is another male stimulant, shall we say. Teddy Long said, "You're talking to the man who invented Blue Chew." And then he dived into this Wrestler's Court story. So Wrestler's Court, if you don't know, it was an old thing. The Undertaker was the judge. It was like a courtroom setup. The backstage, the locker room would regulate itself. Some truly horrendous stuff came out.
Yeah, some bad stuff, actually.
Yeah, but this one's just really funny, so who cares?
You usually get punished by a ban of crated beer for the boys.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I'll just read you Teddy Long's account of what happened to him going to Wrestler's Court for selling willy pills to the boys. I ended up having to go to Wrestler's Court, and they took me to Wrestler's Court for selling Viagra to the boys. So, the day they served me the papers to go to court, I got no lawyer. So I'm walking around the locker room trying to find a lawyer, and I end up finding Mae Young. God rest her soul. I said, "Mae, will you be my lawyer? I'm in Wrestler's Court. I need a lawyer." Unfortunately, this went south pretty quickly. When I brought Mae Young in, I almost had them. And then Mae Young screwed up and called Viagra Niagara. That was a different kind of waterfall, isn't it? At the end,
don't go chasing it.
Gee whiz, hell no, don't go chasing it. That's what got me sentenced. Taker sentenced me to buying chicken and beer for about a month for JBL and somebody else.
Always JBL who benefits out of this.
Always JBL getting free food.
Like a head prosecutor or something.
I don't know. Maybe.
Also, what's wrong with selling dick pills to the boys if they want them?
Don't.
Is it called Blue Chew because it's SmackDown? Like, because he's on the blue brand?
Origin stories in the comments, please.
You're going to get a hard dick, player. Like, I love wrestling. We all love wrestling here. But god damn it, it's weird sometimes, isn't it? Especially outside the ring.
Would you like to know one of the wrestlers? Have you read this?
No, I wanted to be surprised.
What? I'll give you 3 guesses. Which kind of attitude / new generation / kind of ruthless aggression wrestler was one of the people that Teddy Long was selling Willy pills to?
Well, Kurt Angle, because that was what The Rock referenced in that classic promo, of course.
Wasn't Kurt Angle?
Somebody could drink a big glass of milk.
Sadly, not Kurt Angle.
Okay, not Kurt Angle. JBL?
Sadly, not JBL.
Okay.
Funnier than both of those combined.
Oh,
actually.
funnier.
Like, extremely funny.
Kane.
Not quite as... Viscera.
Amazing.
Listen, I'll just read you what Teddy said about that. I sold some to Viscera. He came to me and said, I don't know what that is. I looked down and I said, whose penis is this? Who does this belong to? He just couldn't believe it. He said he would take them and he didn't have no girl around, so he was just treating himself, apparently.
What?
Viscera was the only guy I knew who could peel an orange in his pocket. Sorry if you have children watching this video.
Yeah,
today.
we should have done a content warning, really.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on? What?
I'll be honest. Like, when wrestlers start podcasts, I always think, very nice. They'll get the little bump, new wrestler, new podcast. And then generally the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast will take them back over because...
Biggest podcast in the world.
Biggest podcast in the game. We can't compete with stuff like this.
No,
we ain't getting stuff like that.
And you know that...
I tried to interview Teddy Long, not about this, many moons ago at a wrestling event. And he tried to charge me, so I didn't pay it. We don't do that. I should have.
Yeah.
I regret it immediately.
There's a very prominent member of the WWE roster who once tried to charge a very prominent member of our team £100 for an interview once as well. That's quite funny.
Yeah, an obscure wrestling. Feel free to guess in the comments. Maybe one day I'll reveal it at like a live show or something like that.
Yeah, because then it dies after the show, doesn't it?
But yeah.
What the hell?
What is going on?
Viagra, Teddy Long, Viscera, Mae Young. Is this how the hand was born?
Maybe. Maybe, just maybe.
Who knows? Mark Henry might have been a customer, give birth to the hand, Mae Young, all that stuff. I don't know, man. What a silly thing this is.
Right, let's get back to some serious wrestling news, Andy. Toni Storm, former AEW World Champion.
Retired.
Of course, retired. Sad to hear that. And she's provided, this is another preposterous update for you, on her Instagram, announcing she will not be competing at CMLL on December 13th. She won't be back at CMLL ever again. She said she could make up an excuse. She does have a legit torn labia. Don't Google it.
No.
But the truth is she doesn't have it anymore. She's obviously lost in AEW, Stardom, CMLL. She's got nothing left to lose. I've got nothing left. And she says, I assume AEW will send a suitable replacement. She's chopping wood, by the way, in this black and white video, saying professional wrestling is a big, fat, beautiful place, but there's no room left to be timeless. She's going to be now where she belongs, in the sun, on the dirt, with a dog she stole from the park, chin down, tits in, don't bother watching for the shoe.
It's the saddest line.
So yeah, it's sadder than the New Day segment, arguably.
Yeah. Good to hear she's recovered from that devastating
Please
injury.
Unretire Toni Storm, you're the best.
Yeah, I mean, the payoff is she's going to return and kick Mariah May's ass, isn't it?
Yes, I thought we might be at Full Gear, but obviously got Mina Shirakawa, and I think Thunder Rosa wants next after that, but I expect big things for Toni Storm in 2025, once she recovers from that injury, of course.
Oh, yeah, and look, if CMLL need a replacement, they might just as well hire the brightest new luchador in the game.
Yes.
Harley Graham, of course.
Toni Storm, wearing Toni Storm's gear, this person.
Yeah.
Replacing her, either...
Sneaky. Katsuyori Shibata.
Okay. Or Athena. I mean, Athena would be great.
Yeah. I mean, she should be on TV.
She should.
The Big Show. Paul White. Get him involved somehow. I don't know. I was trying to say that Athena should be on The Big Show, Dynamite.
But also, Paul White.
Yeah, Paul White. Why not? No more BS. It's him versus QT round 2. It's coming.
It's like... I've come to CMLL to replace Tony Storm, but I've not come alone. Here comes the Rizzler, best mate. I think the Rizzler's the one person who could convince Tony Storm to come out for a time.
I agree. Rizzle me this, rizzle me that. Click on this video and you'll have a cat. Yep. Hope you enjoyed this one.
We did.
This one's not as weird right here. It's
Promise.
very
It can't be.
Impossible. Bye.